Hey there, Carrie Rhodes here. Today I am starting a week of videos featuring products from the new release at Trinity Stamps, the March 2023 release. So in today's videos, we are taking a close-up look at the vintage bunny stamp set and the layered eggs slimline stencil, which is right here. I love all things slimline and vintage. I like vintage things. So I wanted to put these two things together and create a vintage vibe of an Easter card. So I wanted to show you this stencil has the fallout pieces that you can use as masks, and I'm going to show you how to use those on my card today. So first of all, I want to show you the other product, and that is the vintage bunny stamp set. He is so cute. I love that he has a little suit on. Like, that just makes me so happy. And then we have Easter greetings, which I like having something that doesn't say just Happy Easter. So a little something different. And of course there is a die for both of them, and they're easily snipped apart, and this 4x3 stamp set is ready to go. So let's go ahead and stamp it out with black ink on white cardstock so I can do some Copic coloring. So when I'm planning a vintage theme card, I want to go with colors that are maybe a little softer and have kind of a dusty vibe to them. So first up, I'm coloring my bunny. So he's tan. E55 is my darkest color, and then E53, I'm coming in and blending that out and making the colored area just a little bit bigger. I did leave some more white space and brought in my E21 as my lightest color, and I just love this color for this bunny. It's really fun. Okay, for his suit, I have the BG72 as my darkest color, and you can see it has a little bit of that kind of dusty blue. And so this will be my darkest color, and then I will just lay that down wherever I want the shadows to go, and then blend that out with BG10. Now, the little areas that I'm coloring here are pretty small except for the pants, so it's easy to get away with doing just 2 marker blend. Isn't he cute? Okay, for his suit vest, I am using YG03 and YG01. So these are kind of brighter colors, but they just add a pop with that dusty blue suit. Then I have RV11 for his bow tie and RV83 that I put in my lightest color first, then just a touch of the darker because it's such a small area to color. I use the same exact colors for his ears, his cheeks, and his nose, and that will be one of the colors I use when coloring out the eggs as well. And you can see just a touch of that dark color for a shadow. For the white part, I just use W0 to add a little shadow to his shirt and his teeth. And then I am using the same exact colors I used on the bunny for the basket, but I'm going a lot heavier on the E55 and only doing E53, not the darkest color. And I love how that is the same colors, but just a little different. And then the coloring of the eggs in the basket are so tiny, I did not do a color blend on those. So they're ready to go. And then on the egg, I colored the polka dots pink and the egg around it with that YG03. So a pretty light green and a tiny bit of ink blending. So here's all the markers that I used in case it's something you wanted to replicate. You can see them all right there. Then I die cut them out with the coordinating dies. This part always makes me so happy. I love how it looks die cut out. And I love that Trinity Stamps has smaller stamp sets like this that are easy for you to purchase at a low price point and incorporate into your stash for a holiday that, you know, maybe isn't as big as Christmas, where you don't need a big stamp set or a lot of variety, but having just a few simple things really helps you make creations for that holiday. Okay, so this is that layered egg stencil. It is 6x9, and these eggs are spaced so that you could do a different color on every egg, which makes me really happy. But I decided to go just 2 colors on mine. So I'm using Distress Oxide ink. I totally forgot the name of it, but I showed it on the screen. And then before picking up my stencil, I splattered it with water so it would have that speckled look, and then I reveal it right there. Oh my gosh, it's so good. But what makes it really cool is when you do the second layer of stenciling. I wanted to make sure that was really dry before I moved on to my next color. So I went ahead and used my heat tool to dry that up a little bit. And then of course I had to do speckled egg. Yeah, it looks so good with this color combination I've got going on. Kind of reminds me of the color of the bunny's suit. So I'll add that onto the 3 eggs, and the way the stencil works, it looks like these eggs right here are behind the other ones. So it gives you that 3D kind of effect. And so once I'm done inking those, I will splatter them as well. And I think it just adds to that look of the vintage vibe with the splatters. So pick up the excess water and then look at this. How fun these eggs are leaning up against each other. Okay, now it's time for those masks. I'm just going to line them up, lay them down where they go, and once I have all of them in place, all 7 eggs have a mask, I'm going to take a piece of painter's tape. Before I stick it down, I am going to like stick it down to my pants to make it a little more low tack, and then I can just tape that right down. Then it's easy for me to come in with my antique linen and go around the outside edge. This is really going to add a vintage feel. Having like a distress color that's going to darken up the edges really adds to that vintage feel. And now I don't have to worry about this color getting on the eggs. Even though I'm not going 100% over the eggs themselves, it is protecting them and it works so good. And I actually left those eggs taped together and stuck it down to my packaging. All right, so I decided to go ahead and leave the masks down and do a little bit of vintage photo splattering around this, so it would also have some splatter on the edges. So again, the masks are coming in super handy for this step right here. And there we have it, looking good. And again, I saved the masks taped just like that. Next, I wanted some white speckles on my eggs. I didn't feel like the speckles were going to matter if they got on the background, so I didn't worry about like using my stencil to mask off the outside. I thought it was fine if some of it got on the border. So there we go. We're going to set that aside to dry. And for this frame on my card, I have another Slimline die from Trinity Stamps. It's like the Slimline foliage die. I will have it linked for you below so you can check that out. It's something I already had in my stash, and it's going to give me that nice springy border, and I cut it from textured cardstock, and I'm adding a little vintage photo to the edge. I just feel like textured cardstock kind of gives things a vintage vibe too, so I had to throw that in there. I had this color, it seemed perfect. So now I can glue the 2 pieces together. You can see my card front will be 8.5 by 3.5 inches. And then for my sentiment, I also felt like it was just too stark white. So I added a little vintage photo to that as well. And it just keeps the center white. And so it helps draw your eye into that center of the sentiment. All right, the sentiment and the bunny are getting popped up onto the card just like that with some foam squares. And I just couldn't leave my floral frame or my foliage frame plain. I had to add some flowers. So I pulled out all the ones I wanted to use and die cut them from white, and then I'm arranging them where I want them to go. Now, here I felt like the pop of white was really a good touch. So I will add a little bit of color to the things once I get them arranged, but I like to do this, lay everything out where I want it to go and get a feel for it. Then I know if I need to die cut more, take something away, change something up, and then once I have it where I want it, then I will set to gluing all the things down. And I added centers to the flowers, which is the main part that I'm going to color. So for the centers, I'm using my 2 shades of pink again, so it really ties back into the colors on the bunny, and a little dark shadow with that R83. And then on the flowers themselves, I felt like they needed a little bit of a shadow, not necessarily being colored in. So I just brought in my E21 and did some really light strokes on those flowers to give them a shadow look. And there they are. So pretty. So that is the layered eggs stencil in the background with the vintage bunny. I think they go so good together, but I have to say that the layered egg stencil is so versatile. A lot of my fellow design team members for Trinity Stamps have used some bright rainbowy colors with these eggs, and they look amazing. So I think it's a really fun stencil set. What do you think? Let me know what you think of these new products from Trinity Stamps below, and watch for more videos this week where I am showcasing some of these new products in action on cards so you can get a feel for them yourselves. So I will see you in the comments below, and you can also check the description box for the product links, and I will see you all again very soon. Happy stamping! Bye!